Hey folks, what's going on here? Just recording a $36 180 man. In this hand, the blinds are large at this point. Everyone, no one really has more than 20 big blinds at my table. Felix shoved a 4x stack in early position. I've played with Felix a lot. I know he's a good player, and his range there is basically like it. I forget if he's really good or if he's actually. Let me check my notes. Good, solid winner. Yeah. So his range is pretty much like 80% of his hands, maybe 75% at least. So I had ace 9 in the big blind. I was getting 2-1, so that's an obvious call against his range because I'm such a big favorite. But basically, except someone else reshoved, so that changes everything. Of course, then it became an easy fold. But that's a pretty obvious situation to call with ace 9 there against super wide range. But what I was making this video for was to discuss defending your blinds in shallow stack tournaments against not only against open shoves, but mostly against those. And I was going to say that in that spot against Felix, who I know is a good player, and I'm in the big blind, and I'm getting I'm getting a tiny bit over 2-1, like 2.1-1. Ace 9 is a simple call, like any king is a simple call, like all Broadways, pairs, all simple calls. Those aren't even questionable. But and maybe not as obviously, but like obviously to good players, also all good suited connectors, 10-9 suited, 8-7 suited. Those are all simple academic calls. But really, it's against his range. It's almost any two that you want to be calling with, damn near. Like getting 2-1, you need like 30% against his range. And if you just run Poker Stove on it, I haven't done it like right now. But if you do, this is not a shove. It's kind of close because everyone behind me is short. Actually, wouldn't be a horrible shove, but it's kind of marginal. But what I was going to say is if you run like a really bad hand, like say 10-5 off against, I'll do it right now on the side here. 10-5 off against a range of the top, say, let's just say he's tighter than he should be, and it's only the top 60% of hands, or maybe like top 50% of hands, let's say. 10-5 off against the top 50% of hands is a 2-1 dog, as you see. You got 34% equity, and I was getting like 2.1-1. So basically, even a hand as junky and horrible as 2-5 off, and even though it's a decent percentage of your stack, okay, this is an insta ship. I would shove a very wide range here because the blind antes are in. So now that's a third of my stack that's already in the pot 550. Sixes are easy, but I would shove like probably like 80% of my range under the gun there. In these shallow stack like 180 mans or the 45 mans where everyone has shallow money, you have to be looking for spots to open shove with almost anything. Once the levels, especially when the blinds get to where there are antes, but even before that, like when the levels are 100, 200. Now here's another perfect situation. What I'm going to describe, I'm getting. This is a relatively good hand. This guy, I don't know how good he is, but it doesn't really matter. If he's good, then it's an easy call. If he's bad, it's still pretty close. But overall, it's definitely a call, even with this not very good hand. And that's like the worst situation you could see. But I got some chops here anyways. It's kind of sick. Oh, that's a terrible card. Yeah, that's ugly. But despite the results, that's a pretty standard call. Again, there I wasn't getting quite 2-1. I was getting a tiny bit under, I believe. But my hand was had so much equity against his range, which should be, as you saw, it was jack high and could be almost anything. So I really, the point is, although it didn't work here, I'm supposed to shove anything here, so I'm going to. I hate doing it with ace 3, but I have to. 8-3. I got enough equity here, so there we go. No ace, no queen. Ooh, no spade. Oh, no 5. Okay, that was ugly. Anyways, so the point was, you should be shoving super wide in these tournaments when you're short, and you should be calling in your big blinds super wide against most people's open shoves. Sometimes it kind of depends, of course. If someone's range is noticeably, demonstrably tighter than it should be, let's say you've just watched them and you know they don't open shove light even though they're supposed to, then obviously you have to adjust your range, and like Jack 8 suited in the big blind, you might not be getting the price against their range because their range might be, you know, all like pocket sixes and up, and like ace king, ace queen, which still is probably, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but you're almost certainly more than a 2-to-1 dog against that range. I'm not 100% sure about that, but okay, so forget that example and just say the range was pocket nines and up and ace king. Okay, so against that range, you're certainly not 2-to-1 with Jack 8 suited, so you just throw it away. But in reality, all good players' ranges are super wide there. A lot of bad players' ranges are still wide, but you have to beware of some bad players who are too tight when the blinds get big, which there are a lot of. You think of bad players, you think of like loose spew monkeys, and they usually are loose and spewy early in the tournament when they have a lot of blinds, which is kind of the opposite of what they should be doing. But later in the tournament, they kind of get it backwards and they tighten up. So there are players like that you have to watch out for. But besides that, the point was defend light and open shove light and win. Thank you.